Geoff Brock is the member for Frome. He's running as the member for Stuart, or the candidate for Stuart at the next state election. Good to have you back with us on Flow, Geoff.
Oh, good morning, and it's great to be back with you and all your listeners.
Thanks, Geoff. Look, the challenge we face at the moment is these road closures due to flooding. First of all, what impact is it having on your local communities?
Well, and my current local community is no impact at all at this stage. However, the issue is that and the rain. Look, we've welcomed the rain, and there's going to be more coming. But the worst part about it is, whilst the rain is fantastic for the pastoralists and the areas up around the north, it is creating havoc with the road infrastructure and things like, and the availability to get not only the road but also the rail. Now, the current situation is the Cooper Pedi's, which is not in my new potential electorate. It's in Giles. But however, it does impact anything to do with regional South Australia. It impacts me personally, quite frankly. Look, it's a big issue up there, and I hear that they got one truck through, and that was the supplies were there the other day. But now the government, and congratulations, they're bringing in the Air Force or wherever it may be to drop supplies into Cooper Pedy. The concern I've got now is that there's more deluge coming, and the Bureau indicate there could be another 100 to 200 millimetres of rain. So already on what's happened, that's going to make it even worse for the road conditions. And around the areas of Lee Creek and those areas there, whilst the roads, to my information, are still passable, but however, it is starting to get the situation that at William Creek and other locations, and I'm making phone calls today just to check on how those people are going. It is going to be a real challenge going forward, and we just need. It just goes to show you how vulnerable we are in our outback areas for when things like this do happen, and we've got to really look at the long-term opportunities, because these people up there deserve to have two things. They need to have the transport going through to get their supplies, but also even yesterday in the location in Port Pirie, we lost all our internet, and that was for a long period of time. So again, regional South Australia needs to have far more attention to by the state government and the federal government. But just getting back, the other issue is that it's the rail is a big concern, and also the trucks, the vehicles getting through to Northern Territory and to Queensland. That's going to be a big issue also. So, look, it's a challenge, but we need to be very, very considerate of those people in those areas there being impacted by the rain. But certainly, I'll be making phone calls and just get up to date today from some of the locations in the new potential electorate I'm going for in Stuart. But certainly we may have to, and I say we, the government, whoever it may be, and the current government has to do this, they need to look at the opportunities for getting food if the roads are out into other areas like William Creek and Lee Creek and all those locations up Lyndhurst and those particular locations, because again, they need to have the commodities to be able to continue going with their own lifestyle.
Yeah, Geoff, is it this tropical sort of moisture? It's unusual in a sense. I mean, it's the La Nina system that's generated it, but has the state's infrastructure, road and rail, been put under a stress test and failed, or is it just impossible to sort of gold plate the transport network to cover for this sort of thing?
Well, it's like the COVID. It's like the COVID issue. We know it's come, and be quite frank, I don't think our state government has got themselves prepared for the impact of COVID and the opening of the borders and things. And we have to do it sooner or later, but we're not prepared for that. The issue I've got now is that we've only got one rail line going up there, and some of our road infrastructure in the north, and I used to travel that way with BP Australia many years ago, and I'm very aware of the areas. And as a minister, I travelled in the outback areas really frequently, and I see some of the road infrastructure up there. And no, it's not up to scratch, and we need to push more money and do it far better with funds mainly from the Commonwealth government, because bearing in mind any road infrastructure in regional South Australia is 80% contribution by the federal government, 20% by the state government of the day. So yes, look, I think it's caught us by surprise. It's a once-off in an El Nino. It's not going to happen every time, but here we are. We've got ourselves caught. We've had one lot of deluge up there. We've had one bit of rain and a fair bit of rain, and it's torrential, and there's more coming. So climate change is a real issue, and we've only seen that across all of Australia at the moment. The varying bushfires, floods, gee whiz, and we've just got to really start looking at the long term. And also, Ricky, don't forget that where is all the opportunities for the exploration and the resources coming from in South Australia in particular? It's up the outback in Cooper Pedy, Lee Creek, Roxby Downs, and all those locations there. So again, we should be, and the state and federal government should be putting far more money into those locations there. But today, my concern is to make certain that there is facilities up there, there is water up there, because that's the other issue. We've got power, we've got to make sure we've got power, but particularly petrol and diesel, and that if we run out of that, again, you can't airlift that in there. So again, if that happens, then in actual fact, we've got Glen Dambo, from my information, they ran out of fuel the other day. So what happens to the people, the tourists coming in? We've got to get fuel up there. Look, a big challenge, and I think this is a wake-up call, quite frankly.
Well, Geoff, look, thanks for that. We will keep tracking what is developing as a major logistical challenge for the nation. Thanks very much for your time today. Appreciate it.
Anytime, Ricky, and look, for the listeners, please just be very considerate of what you're doing out there and the COVID. And again, I want to reinforce my dedication and commitment to our frontline workers across all of regional South Australia. They've done a fantastic job out there, as had the people of South Australia done. So well done, everybody.